Think protein is just a dietary buzzword? Think again. It's increasingly recognized as a fundamental component of good health. Yet the buzz often leads to confusion and overhyped claims. And this is the part most people miss. Understanding what's fact and what's fiction around protein can actually help you make smarter choices for your body. Protein is everywhere these days. From food labels boasting about high protein counts in bold fonts to Instagram feeds filled with recipes promising to boost your muscle and energy levels. In fact, according to the International Food Information Council's Food and Health Survey, high protein was the most talked about eating trend in 2024. But here's where it gets controversial. Does all this hype truly match up with scientific evidence? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, because protein is undeniably essential for your health. It helps maintain muscle mass, supports immune function, and aids in the production of vital hormones and enzymes. Increasing your protein intake can be particularly beneficial as you age or pursue fitness goals. Yet, at the same time, the relentless push to shove more grams of protein into every meal, often driven by marketing rather than actual medical necessity, raises some critical questions. How much do you really need? Can you take in too much? And what are the best sources? Let's break down the facts, bust some common myths, and clarify the top questions around today's protein obsession. What is dietary protein and why is it important? Protein is one of the three main macronutrients your body requires in large amounts, along with fats and carbohydrates. While carbs and fats are primarily fuels that provide energy, protein plays a more structural and functional role. It's involved in building and repairing tissues, bolstering your immune system, and creating key molecules like enzymes and hormones. Proteins are made up of amino acids, which are like the building blocks for your body. Out of these, your body can produce some amino acids on its own, but there are 9 called essential amino acids that you must obtain through your diet. That's why including enough protein daily isn't just for athletes or fitness buffs. It's a basic necessity. Unlike fats and carbs, which your body can store for later use, protein doesn't have a dedicated storage system. This means you need to consume it regularly. In extreme conditions, such as prolonged fasting, severe illness, or injury, your body will break down muscle tissue to release amino acids for energy and repair, highlighting just how vital protein is for survival. How much protein do we really need? The amount of protein each person needs varies based on factors like age, activity level, and health conditions. However, the widely accepted guideline, the recommended dietary allowance, RDA, is quite straightforward. Approximately 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, GI per kilogram. For example, a woman weighing 65 kilograms should aim for about 52 grams of protein daily. It's important to note that the RDA's main purpose is to prevent deficiency, not necessarily to optimize health. For groups such as older adults, athletes, or pregnant and nursing women, the demand may be substantially higher, sometimes between 1.2 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. For instance, a 65 kilogram senior might need as much as 78 to 130 grams daily, much more than the RDA suggests. Is there a limit to how much protein is too much? While many experts agree that increasing your protein intake offers benefits, especially for older populations, there's little evidence to suggest that eating beyond 2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day provides additional advantages. In fact, for most healthy individuals, consuming more protein isn't harmful. It doesn't shorten lifespan, damage kidneys, cause cancer, or lead to bone loss as some myths propose. But it's also unlikely to boost health further past a certain point. When and how should you consume your protein? A common misconception spread by social media is that post-workout is the only window to effectively absorb protein. One recent claim suggested women after menopause need to consume protein within just 45 minutes of exercise, or else lose their muscle gains entirely. That's simply not supported by scientific evidence. The idea of an anabolic window, a short period after exercise when protein must be ingested for maximum muscle growth, has been debunked. More accurately, your muscles remain receptive to protein intake for at least 24 hours following activity. So, instead of stressing over right after your workout, focus on making sure you're getting enough protein throughout the day. In fact, the overall daily protein intake matters far more than precise timing. If consuming more protein at certain meals helps you feel fuller and reduces your cravings for sweets or snacks, that's a smart strategy. Plus, for some folks on medications for type 2 diabetes, like GLP-1 receptor agonists, which significantly curb appetite, prioritizing protein could hypothetically help slow muscle loss during weight reduction. But this approach is not definitive and should be paired with resistance training for best results. Are all proteins equal? Protein sources are diverse, spanning animal-based options such as meat, fish, eggs, and dairy, to plant-based foods like legumes, soy, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. There are also supplements like whey, casein, and collagen. Sometimes animal proteins are labeled as superior because they tend to contain more essential amino acids and are more readily absorbed by the body, what's called higher bioavailability. But a well-balanced, thoughtfully planned plant-based diet can provide all essential amino acids as well, just with a bit more variety and intentionality. In summary, whether you lean toward animal or plant sources, the key is balance and variety to meet your individual needs. Your body's ability to adapt and utilize different protein sources offers plenty of options. So don't get caught up in one-size-fits-all claims about superiority. So, what's your take? Is all this protein hype justified? Or are we falling for marketing tricks? Are you convinced that focusing on balanced, consistent intake is better than following fleeting trends? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This debate is far from over.